What's the difference between a standard four-link and a triangulated four-link? Over the years, there have been lots of different ways to locate a rear axle into a car's chassis. One that has become common as an aftermarket upgrade is a four-link, so-called because there are literally 4 links of tubing that attach the rear end housing to the chassis. When you compare a four-link to a wishbone or radius rod like you might find on an early car, you can see one of the major advantages. On this hairpin radius rod, as the rear end goes up and down, it rotates on this axis where it attaches to the frame rail. This is fine as long as both sides of the rear end are going up and down at the same time. As soon as one side wants to go up and one side wants to go down, everything is put into a bind. A four-link, on the other hand, allows the rear axle to remain more or less at a constant angle as it travels up and down. This allows for much better articulation of the rear end. A radius rod setup like this or a traditional four-link setup like this will require some additional means of locating the rear end and the housing side to side. Typically, this is done with either a panhard bar or a Watts link. On a high-performance car, the best choice is going to depend on lots of different factors, and the proper setup is going to be critical to making any of these setups work. One general note when you're comparing a triangulated setup to a setup that uses an external panhard bar or Watts link is that you typically have a little bit more control over the rear roll center with a panhard bar and a Watts link by being able to adjust them up and down that you don't typically have with a triangulated setup. And this isn't super critical on just an everyday driver, but on a high-performance race car, being able to adjust that roll center can be a huge and critical adjustment. One way to have the advantages of a four-link without the added complexity of brackets and links for a Watts link or a panhard bar is a triangulated four-link like this kit for a 47 to 54 Chevy pickup. A triangulated setup will angle 2 of the links, most typically the upper links, and so then it not only locates the rear end front to back, it also locates it side to side without the need for an external track bar. You've seen these setups before. GM A-bodies, G-bodies, Fox body Mustangs, lots of OE applications will use a triangulated four-link setup in the rear.